I'm about to do a market review on ES futures. This is on October 10th, New York session. So I always start out analyzing my charts at the beginning of the session, of the overnight session. So the first thing I see is consolidation. When I see consolidation, I don't do anything. The EMA is moving sideways, so I ignore this price action. I just sit on my hands. So when price is ranging, I'm always looking to take trades either off the top or the bottom of the range. Or I'm either waiting on a breakout from the top or the bottom. So in this case, price broke out the bottom here. So I'm never too quick to jump in on a breakout. I want to see a breakout pullback. I want to see price come to this area and reject multiple times. But instead, price shot right back through this level. So at this point, I'm thinking now my bias is long, because if a breakout have failed and I have a nice strong leg like this, then I'm looking for buys. So I would mark up my first leg here. Price does move in twos. After I see a first leg and a pullback, I'm always expecting a second leg to complete that cycle. So this is just my first leg up, so I'm definitely expecting a second leg, so I am looking for longs. So price pulled back here. Now at the pullback, I'm always looking for a second entry. I'm looking for 2 failed attempts to go long. So this is my first push up. Price tried to push down again. This is my second push up. So technically this is my second entry long. The candle is a little weak. So usually if the candle is like this, you could enter once price breaks the highs, these highs right here, and enter for a buy. Or if you're not sure about the second entry long, you can wait for a higher low setup to confirm the long bias. So in this case, I probably would have waited because I'm not super confident in that. After price had the second entry long, it pushed above the EMA and we had a higher low. So these are both higher low setups and they both worked perfectly. Like I said, after a first leg and a pullback, I'm always expecting a second leg in that direction. And both of these setups would have been an entry to catch that second leg up. The market opens at 8:30 my time. This setup actually came right at 8:30. That would have been the only thing that maybe would have made me pause on taking this entry. I don't like entering at the moment the market opens. This setup was at 8:31. I probably would have taken this one because this was like extra confirmation. But both of these setups would have worked right at the open of New York session to catch the second leg up. So as I keep analyzing, usually after price makes a nice push up like this, a pullback, and then a new high, because this is a new high since this was the last high. This is a higher high. After a complete 2-leg cycle, usually price ranges or reverses, and if it doesn't do that and it keeps making higher highs and higher lows, then I will know that the trend is still in play and that there is a wider channel working. So I would draw a wider trend. So there is still, price is still moving higher. Even after it made a new high, it's still making a higher low, higher high, a higher low, a higher high. So when there is a trend working up in a channel and I have a break, after every break, I'm expecting a new high because price moves in twos. So technically now this is my leg. This is my first leg and I'm looking for a second leg higher, or at least an attempt to a new high. So now I see that price is moving lower and I'm waiting for this correction to play out so I can start looking for more buys. Like I said, since price moves in twos, I expect the correction to be the same way. This is the first leg of my trend down, the first leg of the correction here. And so then we have price pull back from this leg down. And then I have my second leg down here. Notice how price moves in twos even in the correction phase. This is leg 1, this is leg 2, and now that completes this downtrend cycle. I notice that price continues to move lower because, like I said, typically after price has made a new lower low or a new higher high, price will usually reverse or start ranging. But in this case, after price made a new low here, it pushed up and made another new low. So this is a lower high and another lower low. So after I see another lower high and another lower low, now I'm thinking that the trend is shifting down. Notice how the highs are getting lower. We have a lower high here, a lower high here, a lower high here. So now I am abandoning my bias of longs, and now I'm shifting more towards sales because price is making consistent lower highs. Now, even though price is making lower highs, the EMA is going straight through the candles. There's no consistent price action. It kind of looks like a range. Also, in a range, you can look to fade the top or the bottom. And since my bias is more so sales, since the highs are getting lower and lower, I see price come up to this resistance area. Either one of these I would have taken. They're great signal candles. So I would have taken this trade and my target would have been this area here. So now I see that price has broken out extremely strong. So at this point, my bias is definitely short and I have a fresh new leg in a new direction. So this is my first leg down. And this leg is very steep. This is a strong trend. So this is my first leg down. I'm always looking to take a trade in the middle of the trend to catch the second leg down. But in this case, price, it was so strong. It didn't touch the EMA. This candle was too strong to enter on. So this trend ended up playing out without an entry because we had a break here and then a new low here. So remember, after we have a new low, which is a lower low, price resets. Remember, this cycle is now over. We had two legs down, so now you just want to wait to see what happens. So typically, like I said, after a new low or a new high, you're looking for price to reverse or either range. In this case, instead of doing either of those, price made a lower high and another new low, and price continued to move lower. So in this case, if price continues to move lower after a new low, then you want to draw a wider channel, which means a wider downtrend is working. So this downtrend is still in play. I'm still looking for sales. So this is my new trend working down. There is no new low yet. Price did break out of this channel. So this is my trend break, which is my pullback. So I always want to enter at the pullback area to catch the next push down. Price started to trend up above the EMA, broke lower. This is my first entry short. Price tried to push higher again and we ended up breaking lower again here, which is my second entry short. So this would have been a high probability setup that I would have taken. This is the second candle that broke lower, which counts as a second entry short. And I would have taken this trade expecting that price would retest to a new low. Now, price didn't exactly make a new low. Instead, it stopped here. So in this case, price did attempt to make a new low. And in some cases, that is enough. But you still want to be cautious of buying because you always expect for price to move lower after the break of a trend. So in this case, price kind of started to range a little bit. So let me draw up my range. So price started to move sideways. There's really no clear direction in this case. In this case, you want to sit on your hands. But like I said, I'm still cautious because price did not make a new low yet. So you have to be cautious of buying so quickly. So price did break out of the range. And I always like to draw my trend channels. That just keeps me updated on what's going on in the market and where price is. So price did trend up. We had a pullback and price attempted to make a new high, but it failed. So since price didn't make a new low, I'm still expecting price to drop. This market cycle is over. This gave me two legs up. So now I'm still looking for sales. Here I see another high probability setup. So I have price trying to push up here and it fails. Price tried to push up again and failed. And the second time it failed, this candle was so strong. This is a great trade to enter on because it's a second entry short. which is a high probability setup. And this signal candle was so strong, it was stronger than all the candles to the left. All of these candles were weaker, and this candle just took over. Price attempted to push up more than once and failed. And on top of that, I'm still expecting price to make a new low. So this is definitely would have been a trade that I've taken. So price did end up making a new low here. So since it's starting to get really late in the day, I will stop here. I usually like to do a market review every day after the market close, just to continue to keep my skill up and try to see what I missed or what I could have done better. So stay tuned for another market review in the next video.